Hello, Bible study peeps. I'm back, and we're going to go through Judges chapter 20. Remember last time we heard that horrible story about the man from Ephraim who had a concubine, and he went to go gather her from her father in the land of Judah. And on the way home, in the land of Benjamin, she was ravished. The men of the city who were homosexual were trying to rape the man who had the concubine, and the man he was staying with threw the concubine out instead, and they killed her. This happened in the territory of Benjamin, but the city was Gibeah, and I don't see it on the map, but Benjamin, the tribal land, is kind of, it's not very big there. It's one of the smaller ones, so it's got to be in there somewhere. After his concubine was killed, of course, he didn't try to protect her, and the man who was lodging them certainly didn't try for justice. The man who was lodging them certainly didn't try to protect her. They basically the man who was in charge of where they were staying, the owner of the house, he basically offered her up to the men, and who didn't even want her, but they raped her all night and killed her. And I don't know how many men, we don't know how many men there were, but then her husband, he cut her in pieces and sent 12 pieces, and he sent her parts to the 12 tribes of Israel, which was really horrifying. And that was kind of like a call to battle. They had done that with animals, I guess, in the past. Anyway, it really got the Israelites worked up over Benjamin, and they wanted to come. So in chapter 20, they're going to the other 11 tribes are going to seek vengeance on the tribe of Benjamin, where this happened, the city of Gibeah, and the whole tribe of Benjamin, because they've allowed this to happen in their territory. It sounds like maybe it was worse than what was happening in the other territories, but remember, the Israelites are a mess right then. So I think we should read it and discuss how they react to receiving these body parts, and a civil war will ensue. Okay, chapter 20. Then all the sons of Israel from Dan to Beersheba, including the land of Gilead, came out, and the congregation assembled as one man to the Lord at Mizpah. Sorry, I should have looked at some of these other places. Anyway, you can look on your own map for this one. Okay. The chiefs of all the people, even all of the tribes of Israel, took their stand in the assembly of the people of God, 400,000 foot soldiers who drew the sword. Now, we're talking about all the other tribes besides Benjamin. Benjamin is the one they're angry at for allowing this kind of behavior within their tribal lands. Now, the sons of Benjamin heard that the sons of Israel had gone up to Mizpah. And the sons of Israel said, "Tell us, how did this wickedness take place?" Now, they're all meeting to discuss this wicked thing, and they're discussing it with the husband of this concubine who was killed. I'm just looking if I can find Mizpah. I don't know where it is. I'm pretty tired tonight. But look at your map. I'll let you find it this time. All right. Let's see. I've seen that one before. I've seen that city before. So the Levite, the husband of the woman who was murdered, answered and said, "I came with my concubine to spend the night at Gibeah, which belongs to Benjamin. But the men of Gibeah rose up against me and surrounded the house at night because of me. They intended to kill me. Instead, they ravished my concubine so that she died. And I took hold of my concubine and cut her in pieces and sent her throughout the land of Israel's inheritance, for they have committed a lewd and disgraceful act in Israel. Behold, all you sons of Israel, give your advice and counsel here." Then all the people arose as one man, like they were unified in this effort. "Not one of us will go to his tent, nor will any of us return to his house. But this is the thing which we will do in Gibeah. We will go up against it by lot." So they're going to go against this city in the tribal land of Benjamin, where this crime happened, Gibeah. And they're going to stand together, and they're going to fight the Benjaminites. But did you notice when her husband's explaining what happened, he tells how the men were after him. He never tells that the person whose house they're staying in just threw his concubine out. He never tells that there's no evidence that her husband tried to defend her. I mean, I don't know how many men there were, but like the next morning when she's at the doorstep dead, he's like, get up. I mean, I don't think he's not telling the full story, because at least in my thinking, he's partly to blame. So, okay, so they're gathered together. They're going to go against Gibeah, verse 10. And we will take 10 men out of 100 through the tribes of Israel, and 100 out of 1,000, and 1,000 out of 10,000 to supply food for the people, that when they come to Gibeah of Benjamin, they may punish them for all the disgraceful acts that they have committed in Israel. So they're going to go against the tribe of Benjamin to avenge this woman who's been killed. Thus all men of Israel were gathered against the city, united as one man. They're in on it together. They're going to get this city in Benjamin, Gibeah. And I'm thinking there are others in Benjamin as well. Then the tribes of Israel sent men through the entire tribe of Benjamin. Yeah, they go throughout the entire land, saying, what is this wickedness that has taken place among you? Now then, deliver up the men, the worthless fellows in Gibeah, that we may put them to death and remove this wickedness from Israel. But the sons of Benjamin would not listen to the voice of their brothers, the sons of Israel. If they had given up the perpetrators, this civil war could have been stopped, but Benjamin wouldn't do it. They were protecting the men that killed this woman. And these men had caused problems before. That's why they didn't want, that's why it was dangerous to stay there. That's why nobody wanted to take the travelers into their homes, because look what happened when someone did. So, yeah, but the people there, instead of offering up the perpetrators, they protected them. It reminds me of in Denver when those ICE protesters helped the child rapist escape. I just don't get it. But anyway, it reminds me of that. They're helping these perpetrators escape. But let's keep going. Verse 14. The sons of Benjamin gathered from the cities to Gibeah to go out to battle against the sons of Israel. So the Benjaminites are getting their army together. From the cities on that day, the sons of Benjamin were numbered 26,000 men who draw the sword, besides the inhabitants of Gibeah, who were numbered 700 choice men. Out of all of these people, 700 choice men were left-handed. Each one could sling a stone at a hair and not miss. Then the men of Israel besides Benjamin were numbered 400,000 men who draw the sword. All of these were men of war. So 26,000 men plus another 700 from Benjamin. So the number for Benjamin, 26,700. And then all the other tribes, 400,000. The tribes had many more soldiers than Benjamin did, which it makes sense because it's 11 tribes against one. But it's interesting that they point out that these sling throwers from Benjamin, 700 of them were left-handed, and they were like excellent shots. Okay, civil war, Benjamin defeated. These are Israelites. They're fighting each other. It's a civil war. Civil war, Benjamin defeated. Now the sons of Israel arose, went up to Bethel, and inquired of God, and said, who shall go up first for us to battle against the sons of Benjamin? Then the Lord said, Judah shall go up first. So the sons of Israel arose in the morning and camped against Gibeah. The men of Israel went out to battle against Benjamin, and the men of Israel arrayed for battle against them at Gibeah. Then the sons of Benjamin came out of Gibeah and felled to the ground on that day 22,000 men of Israel. But the people, the men of Israel, encouraged themselves and arrayed for battle again in the place where they had arrayed themselves that first day. The sons of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until evening, and inquired of the Lord, saying, shall we again draw near for battle against the sons of my brother Benjamin? And the Lord said, go up against him. So they're inquiring of the Lord. Like a bunch of them get killed the first time they go against Benjamin, even though Benjamin doesn't have as many men as they do. They kill a bunch of the tribes, Benjamin does, and they inquire of the Lord. At least they're seeking his wisdom. So they go up to Bethel to do this. And the Lord says, yeah, go against him again. Okay, verse 24. Then the sons of Israel came against the sons of Benjamin the second day. Benjamin went out against them from Gibeah the second day and felled to the ground again 18,000 men of the sons of Israel. All these drew the sword. Then all the sons of Israel and all the people went up and came to Bethel and wept. Thus they remained there before the Lord and fasted that day until evening. And they offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. So they again lose a bunch of their men, the Israelite side. The sons of Israel inquired of the Lord, for the Ark of the Covenant of God was there in those days. They go to where the Ark of the Covenant is kept. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, Aaron's son. So this is Aaron's grandson, is Phinehas. And Aaron was Moses' brother, and they're Levites, they're priests. So this is Moses' great nephew or great nephew. Okay. Eleazar, and Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, Aaron's son, stood before it to minister in those days, saying, "Shall I yet go out to battle against the sons of my brother Benjamin, or shall I cease? Shall I stop this battle right now? We're losing men, Lord. We're losing a lot of men, right?" And the Lord said, "Go up, for tomorrow I will deliver them into your hand." So Israel set men in ambush around Gibeah, around the actual city where this crime happened. The sons of Israel went up against the sons of Benjamin on the third day and arrayed themselves against Gibeah as at other times. The sons of Benjamin went out against the people and were drawn away from the city. So they're drawn away from the city of Gibeah. And they began to strike and kill some of the people as at other times, some of the other Israelites, on the highways, one of which goes up to Bethel and the other to Gibeah, and in the field about 30 men of Israel. So they kill about 30 men. I can show you where Bethel is. It's Bethel. This is right there between Benjamin and Ephraim. It's still in Benjamin. It's in the tribal line of Benjamin, but it's right at the top there. Bethel, right there. Okay. Where am I at? Hold on. I lost in my place. The sons of Benjamin. So the Benjamites think they're going to win again. They've killed about 30 Israelis so far. The sons of Benjamin said, "They are struck down before us, as at the first." But the sons of Israel said, "Let us flee, that we may draw them away from the city to the highway." So they're going to lead them out by fleeing. They're going to make the Benjaminites feel like they're running in fear, and then they're going to get them. Then all the men of Israel arose from their place and arrayed themselves at Baal Tamar. And the men of Israel in ambush broke out of their place, even out of Merah-Geba. When 10,000 choice men from all Israel came against Gibeah, the battle became fierce, but Benjamin did not know that disaster was close to them. It's almost like God was setting Benjamin up. Even though God wanted them to fight Benjamin, it sounds like, God allowed a lot of the Israelites to get killed in this battle, but it also built a false sense of security in the tribe of Benjamin. They think they're always going to win because they had won the first 2-3 battles, okay? False sense of security for Benjamin. Then all the men of Israel arose from their place and arrayed themselves at Baal Tamar. Okay, I already read that. Verse 34. When 10,000 choice men from all Israel came against Gibeah, the battle became fierce, but Benjamin did not know that disaster was close to them. And the Lord struck Benjamin before Israel. The Lord wants to avenge this lady's death. And the Lord struck Benjamin before Israel, so that the sons of Israel destroyed 25,100 men of Benjamin that day, all who drew the sword. Yeah, 25,100 men that day. So the sons of Benjamin saw that they were defeated. When the men of Israel gave ground to Benjamin because they relied on the men in ambush, whom they had set against Gibeah, the men in ambush hurried and rushed against Gibeah. The men in ambush also just deployed and struck all the city with the edge of the sword. So they'd drawn the fighting men out of Gibeah, attacked them, and now they're going back to the city to destroy it. Now that the defenders aren't right there in the city. Now the appointed sign between the men of Israel and the men in ambush was that they would make a great cloud of smoke rise from the city. So the men in ambush had made a plan to, I don't know if they set the city on fire or what, but they're a great cloud of smoke. So they were going to create a great cloud of smoke so that the other soldiers who were off in the distance would see it and know that they had defeated the city. Then the men of Israel turned in the battle, and Benjamin began to strike and kill about 30 men of Israel. Again, about 30 of the Israelites fall. For they said, surely they are defeated before us, as in the first battle. Benjamin, because they'd won these prior battles, it's almost like they're still overly confident, even though they're being defeated currently. But when the cloud began to rise from the city in a column of smoke, Benjamin looked behind them, and behold, the whole city was going up in smoke to heaven. Then the men of Israel turned, and the men of Benjamin were terrified, for they saw that disaster was close to them. Now they're finally figuring it out, that they're going to lose this battle. Therefore they turned their backs before the men of Israel toward the direction of the wilderness. But the battle overtook them, while those who came out of the cities destroyed them in the midst of them. They ran toward the wilderness, and other men who were lying in wait in other cities came out in the midst of the Benjaminites. They surrounded Benjamin, pursued them without rest, and trod them down opposite Gibeah toward the east. Thus 18,000 men of Benjamin fell. Another 18,000. All these were valiant warriors, the best of their fighting men. The rest turned and fled toward the wilderness to the rock of Rimmon, but they caught 5,000 of them on the highways and overtook them at Gidom, and killed 2,000 of them. So all of the Benjamin who fell that day were 25,000 men who draw the sword. And how many soldiers do they have at the beginning of the chapter? They had 26,700, so 25,000 fell. I mean, that's most of them. But 600 men turned and fled toward the wilderness, to the rock of Rimmon, and they remained at the rock of Rimmon 4 months. This is the long, drawn-out battle here. The men of Israel then turned back against the sons of Benjamin and struck them with the edge of the sword, both the entire city with the cattle and all that they found. They also, it's okay, kitty. They also set on fire all the cities which they had found, the surrounding cities in Benjamin. So Benjamin is avenged for the death of the concubine that they killed, and God gave them the victory. But I can see why the Israelites might be, it's okay, kitty, it's okay. I can see how the Israelites might be discouraged at first because they were getting killed, but God was setting Benjamin up to be overly confident and to lose in the end, and they were humbled. You know, this could have been avoided if Benjamin had turned over those wretched men, but they chose not to. So we have one more chapter of the book of Judges, and I'll join you next week to share that.